Hello and welcome everybody. It's Terry Houston, HR Strategies Consulting. Today's session on Inside Edge is specific to Employee Central. So thanks for joining us today. As the picture shows, I'm Terry Houston, Global Vice President with HR Strategies Consulting. Alan Debu, our Senior Solutions Consultant, also available to answer questions that you may have specific to any Employee Central configuration, issues, reminders, updates that you may want to have around Employee Central. So what we thought we would do today is just talk to you guys specifically and invite you through the chats to be able to ask questions around Employee Central. And in our previous Inside Edges, we found that people are a little bit shy. So what we'll do as well is we'll just go through what best practices are, commonly used areas inside of SuccessFactors, as well as the ability for us to be able to share with you some things that aren't commonly used inside of Employee Central that you may want to take advantage of inside the solution suite. So when we think about best practices and questions that we could ask you, we want to make sure that we're really maximizing employee self-service. There's been a big move out on the marketplace, and SuccessFactors is spearheading that to be what we call human experience management software. And what that means is the ability to turn our software into a great experience for employees, giving them a lot more control over what they can do and what they can see and the actions they can take to take control of their own careers inside of our organizations and have the best possible experience from applying to a job all the way through to retiring inside of the solution. So really, we want you to think about and ask yourself, are you doing everything you can to maximize the employee experience by turning on the capabilities and the permissions in your systems to allow employees to have much more control over their own destinations, especially in the areas of development and learning inside our solutions. Next, hopefully most of you know that Employee Central is built on a metadata framework. And what this means is that we can take any manual paper processes that you're doing outside of the solution and build them inside of the system. So if you're doing anything that you can think of outside of the system, if you want to let us know, we can talk specifically about how we could potentially build those inside the solution. I am going to show you some examples of that as well coming up, of some things that have been built from a portlet perspective. Next is, are we capturing all the employee data in Employee Central? I know sometimes when I do demos of Employee Central and I get to the employee profile, people are like, oh my goodness, just so much data and information in there. It's overwhelming, which is why we build the tabs. But the data and information is critically important to us. It helps us understand our employees better. It helps us in our succession planning when we're looking for skills and competencies and educations and awards and certificates and experience that we're looking for in teams and for successors inside the solution. So if you're not capturing all the important data that you can, it's time to correct that and really add that in to your Employee Central profile. If you're not using the mobile capabilities, Employee Central is a good opportunity for you to test that, allowing people to come in on their mobile phones and update their addresses and do simple and easy fixes to their profile, as well, of course, all actions, change their goals, continuous performance management. They're all great ways to be maximizing a mobile experience. The next thing is often HRIS systems, core HRIS systems are not integrated with other applications that you're needing to run with inside the organization. Hopefully, everybody on the call has the full SuccessFactors suite or has at least a goal to be on the full SuccessFactors suite at some point in time. But one of the benefits, obviously, to SAP SuccessFactors is what they call their Start Anywhere, Go Anywhere methodology. And what that means is some of you have started with maybe just performance management or here with core HR And over time, as your resources, both financially and physically, allow you to, you'll come into the system and then expand on the number of modules that you're going to take advantage of in the umbrella of products and services underneath of the SAP and SAP SuccessFactors brand. So if you are still using another recruiting, learning, payroll company out there are certainly ways to integrate both real time through APIs, through flat file transfers that are done securely and updated on a regular interval to keep all the systems up to date. There's also ways just to link out through single sign-on through the application to make that easier for you as well. The next area here is a manual uploads of data. So that comes back to the whole, if we're not being integrated, are we having to import, new users inside the system? Are we doing that manually? And really, it's an iteration of line 5. Should we be looking at actually creating that into some form of integration? Nextly, going back to the employee experience, of course, is are we using single sign-on? So are we logging from our application to other applications using single sign-on? And are you, again, making it the best experience possible and linking those from dashboard to dashboard? So when we think of Employee Central, these are the most common features that we see consistently being adopted. From an employee self-service perspective, we're allowing them to change their addresses. We're allowing them to do life events such as add dependents, change their marital status. That's, of course, important, especially if you're using our benefits administration inside of Employee Central, and we certainly hope that you are. Next, of course, is our banking data and information and updating that banking and payroll information. And you can do that regardless of whether you're using Employee Central payroll or whether you're using a third-party payroll company for your payroll. You can have that type of deep integration. Our contact information, and again, our certifications and experiencing, our life, our awards, anything that we're doing from a volunteer perspective, and we'll go through the art of the possible here again. Next is, the whole capability to do leave and request personal time off inside the solution. And SAP is also now investing a little bit more substantially in their capability to do advanced time capabilities with building out schedules and being able to have people log in, log out with on the horizon time clocks as well being into play. Next to there's deductions around, again, back to payroll, United Way deductions, things like that, that we want to automatically come off of our payroll and want to be able to update and change. And then lastly, of course, is the ability to come in, and shouldn't really be benefits administration, it should be benefits enrollment here. From a manager self-service perspective, we want to be able to hire people, terminate people, hopefully because they're retiring. We want to change their roles, change their pays. Maybe we're going to put somebody on a temporary or a global assignment or initiate a one-time payment for them. We can also do things like badging and the likes inside the solution as well. When we think about items that aren't commonly adopted, they're the capability, for instance, for concurrent employment. So that's where one person in your organization may span across 2 different roles with 2 different pay structures. Another nice to have is letter generation, and we're going to show you this. And then again, with that custom form and data portlet creation, I'm going to show you some examples of those that are available inside the system that you can turn on, and also you can configure similar widgets, and we'll show you some that we quickly put together. The next is also managing contingent workers, so you can track contingent workers, where they came from, start and end dates. SAP also has an apprenticeship capability inside the system for any of you that have apprentices and you want to be able to see when they're in school and when they're available for work. we can manage those types of capabilities inside of Employee Central as well. So let's go into Employee Central or into the system here and take a look at some of the things that I'm specifically talking about. So I'm right now in as Jeff Hill, and you can see we have a wide array of data and information we're capturing here in our employee profile. Information that we can allow employees to edit or not edit. So anywhere, of course, we see the pencil, we can edit it. Anywhere there's a clock, that means there's historical data and information. Now, Jeff is administrator, so he's going to be able to edit things that we wouldn't normally give to an employee inside the system. So I think our personal information are all standard things that we're all used to bringing into the system. And it's things like addresses that, are most common for us to enable people to change. So if I want to come in and change my address, I can have the ability to do that specifically here. I can say what time I'm moving. So if I'm not moving till May 27th, I can come in and make changes inside the system. Specifically, I can change my address and I can save this. And when we're doing these types of changes for employee self-service, we can decide if there's a workflow associated with this or not. And the workflow could be just BCCing people, including external places. So maybe we want to BCC our benefits consulting company that we're using. If we're doing that, our broker, maybe we want to CC whoever is responsible for our security badges and the likes. So we can do that. We can also have an approval workflow. So it has to go to our manager, to HR, or HR, to our manager, then to HR inside the system. So these are all capabilities that we can build in. Again, when we're capturing information around dependents, we can, as we're adding dependents inside the system, we can make it mandatory also that they upload documents and details and information that is proof of that. And again, workflows or no workflows available inside the system. With the onboarding 2.0 that's coming, if you're thinking of moving to that or not moving to that, this is where dynamically all the data and information like emergency contact that we get them to populate and fill out in onboarding will be brought in and be part of employee profile. One of the recent innovations is the ability for us to use Google Docs also inside of SuccessFactors. So you can create a document storage area or you can use Google Docs. When we get to this info section, these are some examples of those MDF objects that we've created. So in here, we've created the ability to quickly and easily just pick a uniform color and size. So as I said, just simple and easy examples of things that you can create. Here, we've created the ability to capture some type of driver's license, the issuing state, and then again, the ability to upload proof of that type of specific driver's license here inside the system. We're into our organizational information, which we hope you're using. You can link to your job descriptions. Hopefully you're using Job Profile Builder. It's not the easiest tool to always work with and implement, but it has a lot of value because it brings data throughout the system. All of our employment details, we're capturing the information that's important to us. We can capture things like benefit eligibility, any seniority data and information, stock eligibility. We can also help employees know who in HR they're associated with by connecting job relationships. Again, this company property is an example of things that we're assigning to our employee during new hire when we're hiring them that we can use on offboarding. That can, with 2.0, be brought seamlessly into Employee Central. And in the past, this would have to be been manually configured inside the system. We have all our pertinent compensation information, including our comp statements. And then here's where we can add things like non-recurring and recurring types of deductions. So here we have union dues Our payroll data and information is visible here. So here's our banking information. We can view our pay statement, our W-2s are all accessible here. Not everybody is using our time component, but as I mentioned, it's quick and easy to be able to go in here and request personal time off. If you're not doing it inside the system, you're doing it manually. The losing of vacation days is one of the biggest ROIs for getting a core HR system to begin with. So our drop down here of the reason why you're leaving, we can see who is absent. We can do uploads inside the system. It's easy to be able to go in and request time off and track how much time we physically have. So if I choose those dates, it lets me know if we have rules that nobody in my team can be absent, and I can submit that time off here, and you'll see that I'll get a message that says it's waiting for my supervisor, Maya Cooper, to approve that specific component of it. Okay. And as I mentioned, and I'm just going to go briefly into timesheets, but we can do much more complex time than just PTO off as well. We can default, so people that work a steady 8 hours a day can default to that, and we can do just exception time inside the system. But we can also allow for on-call time, shift differentials, food allowances, whatever it is that you need to be able to capture. So we can put in, if we did 6 hours of working time, we can assign it to a specific cost center here. So if I wanted to do 6 hours here and 2 hours to a different cost center, I can do that inside the system. I can also do on-call time. I can have a drop down here, so it could be overtime, could be travel time, could be taking education, which is important for us, especially in the public sector where we're paying for that type of data. So again, we can capture all this data and information. We can see our time off rules over here, and this will all calculate gross pay and send that to either our ECP or Employee Central Payroll, or it will be able to be available to you to export or through integrations, send to your payroll providers specifically there as well inside the system. So once we get past time, there's a whole ability inside the system to be able to maintain benefits as well. So if you're using a third party, we can link just to that third party here, or we can actually go in and maintain all your benefit requirements inside the system, including open enrollment. So we can see when open enrollment is. We can add things to our cart that we're going to consider changing throughout the year. And when open enrollment time is here, we can make those. We can link out to either brochures or websites of all of our suppliers here. And again, we can start to dabble and think about what changes we might want to do coming forward from a benefit perspective, and see if there's anything that we want to change. So maybe I want to increase my insurance from 100,000 to 250. I can see I'm contributing $11 now, and I can go and I can say, what's it going to cost me to get to 250? And it's going to take me to 27.5. And I'm going to say, well, I think I might want to do that. So I'm going to add that to my cart for consideration afterwards. So you can see we can do insurances, reimbursements, allowances, deductibles, saving plans, FSA, HSA plans, all available inside the system to meet and map to your needs. We do also have the integrations with your benefit providers available as well in our integration centers. We could show you that. We have the EDI 834 integrations to be able to do that. As we get down to our talent profile, this is a capability you have inside EC or any of the modules you have, the ability to ad hoc go out and give badges, our little kudos to our employees. Then we get into all our talent data and information, depending on which talent modules you have on. And then here's where we're capturing what I call the art of the possibility. around data and information around our employees, including licenses and certifications, so that we know everything about them. We're using our learning module. We can bring that data in, our community involvement, our languages, whether we're willing to move, and so on. Next, we get to accident and illness. So these are some of those little forms that are available in the portlet, should you want to look at, and you can turn on. So for organizations that don't want to buy the health and safety or the grievances applications, there's been forms created here where you can go in and you can create a grievance or a conduct log. So here it's, it's an employee grievance, or we're going to complain because they're tardy. Here in the system, we can see what the severity is. We can see what the status of it is. We can put our incident details, add our union representative, talk about our disciplinary actions, upload any documentation around that employee, and save it again within their profile. So these are great additional features that you can turn on here inside the system, right? So conduct log and disciplinary log, I've added them under 2 separate headers here inside the system, okay? So this is the art of the possible around your employee profile. So let me just come back to Anna, and actually let me go to Jeff Hill's homepage for 1 second here, and then I'll come back as Anna. So what I was talking about the ease of use inside the system is your ability to link out from your dashboard to other organizations. So I turned one on, I believe, down here, linking to ADP. So for instance, if we're not using SAP's payroll and we're using ADP or Paycom or Ceridian or any of your payroll providers, we can, through single sign-on, allow your employees to seamlessly jump from here to ADP. We could also put that link here inside the system should we choose to as well, and make that visible for the employees as well, so that it's a great user experience. We're helping them navigate anywhere they want to inside the system. So let me become myself and talk to you specifically about some of the other elements we talked about concurrent employment inside the system and managing contingent workers inside the solution. So I'm just going to go to the org chart and show you an example, actually, of both global assignments, and I'm going to go back as Jeff, actually, and also contingent workers. So here's Anson Gao. He's on a global assignment. So basically, it doesn't have to be a global assignment. It could be a short-term temporary fill for somebody. We've called it global assignment here inside the solution. You can see also, and we can go into Lisa. So she's a contingent worker. So we can manage our relationships with, Kelly Manpower, anywhere you're getting your contingent help with, and mark them and manage their contracts and data and information right here inside the solution as well. And then also, I think, I thought she had Ellen, but let's just go look at Ellen. So Ellen, if I go in and look at Ellen Marie, she has what we call concurrent employment turned on. So as her profile opens up, she's got 2 jobs. So here's her data and information as an assembly worker. So if I go down to her compensation data and information as an assembly worker, you can see that her salary is $25,084 specifically here. If I go back up to Ellen Marie up at the top here, and I switch and I come in and look at her engineering role and position and go back down to her compensation data and information, I'll be able to see that she's making $20,000 in this role. And of course, if I go up to the employment, I can see specifically, so she's working 2 days per week, or 0.4 FTE in this particular position, and is reporting to Ben. And this can be all done in roles and permissions. So I'm Anna, so I can see everybody. But if I logged in as Ben, I would only be able to see her details as my employee based on the role that I'm her manager for. I wouldn't be able to see her role as an assembly worker. So if I go as an assembly worker and see who her boss is inside the system, then that person, James Klein, would only be able to see that specific data and information inside the system. Okay. So that's how we can use this to manage concurrent roles. So lots of times people have the people in the system twice, which causes problems and difficulties. As I'm in here at Ellen, let me see if she's got this turned on in the system. I can also generate specific documents. So if I want to be able to come in and get an employment verification letter, for instance, I can come here. So if I'm going to the bank and I'm trying to get a mortgage, I can have it sent directly by email, or I can download that document right here. So this saves all the time that employees come to us and request this, and we have to manually type these and send them out. And you can see that this letter will appear right here, letting them know what her salary is, specifically inside the system, and the time and date from our organization. So it's a really cool feature that you can turn on to be able to do that as well inside the system. Now, as Anna, as an administrator, I can come in here and also add a contingent worker. So if we're going to hire a new contingent worker inside the system and I want to maintain that, we can come in here, and it's kind of like a new hire form that you've probably seen before. But we can come in and actually add that. And you can see once we get past personal information, we can assign them their job, but then we can also upload and record their work order. So they have a start and end time associated with it, and then we can come in and we can edit and extend or terminate that employee automatically on those end dates. So it's great to be able to manage this, be able to report on where our contingent workers are, start and end dates, and build out those types of reports as well inside the system. So let's look at employee portlets here, managing those employee portlets. So that art of the possible that we talked about inside of Employee Central, this is your ability to come in here and to make visible or not make visible data and information we want to see in employee profile. So one of the things I should do, because I just before this demo went in and turned off on a bunch of things, was I noticed I turned on data and information twice. So one of the areas I should definitely fix is doing that. Apologies for the delay here. I don't know if it's my internet. Looks like we're waiting. I'm just going to try and refresh it. Let's see if I can get it up faster here. Actually, I don't know. This is not where I want it to be anyways, so. All right, let's try that again. Oh, that report's up here. Type it. Profile, come on. There we go. Configure people profile. This shouldn't have taken me so long. So this is where it's going to load everything we're seeing in that employee profile. And we can decide what we want visible and not visible. Like I had a org chart, not visible here. And if we scroll down, this is where you can see I may have had some duplication of stuff in our time and benefits area. So we can pick and choose what we want to be available or not available on the dashboard by simply clicking on the information that's here. So I had that accident and illness, and I had the disciplinary log, and I had it twice. So if I click on this section up here, I can just remove that from being visible. So you can see now it's no longer going to be visible here. I had this grievance log twice, so I can also remove this whole section or just the individual sections here. And I can save that data and information, and it will remove that duplication. So we can drag and drop and add additional portlets that are available for us to increase the capabilities of the data and information we're capturing here. So again, it's as simple as dragging information over inside the system and adding those and saving those as you want to, and configuring that people profile. So you want to be able to do that. The other thing that I wanted to show you today is the ability to come in and create these custom links. So when we go, I'm just going to close this out here. When we go into the system and we want to be able to make it user-friendly and intuitive for our organization, we can create in this drop-down that I was just in links to third parties as well. So if I want to configure those, I can change the navigation. So when we're creating custom navigation, one of the things that I created just recently was this benefits component. I added it just prior to the demo. So basically what I did is I typed in benefits, I linked to internal, and I copied and pasted specifically. So if I just duplicate this screen, what I had actually done here is go in and go to employee profile and open up benefits enrollment. It's because it's annoying for me to have to scroll all the way down to benefits every single time I want it, and then have to go in and open the benefits. So what I did was I just copied this URL here and I pasted it in here inside the system. And then what it asks you is, do I want it in the top navigation? Do I want it in take action, action search? So I selected all. And then I gave everybody permissions to see benefits. Now, if you notice in my drop down, benefits is here. So if I click on benefits, I'm going to automatically drop right in onto my open enrollment and miss all of those steps. And likewise now, if I type this in here, because I put it in the action search as well, it should be one of the options that allows me to go specifically as well. Right, so I can land at the same place automatically. So again, it's about improving the overall user experience inside the system as quickly and easily as you possibly can, utilizing the solution. So those were some of the things today I wanted to illustrate and show you that might make it easier for you. If you have questions further about those or anything else that you might like to see around Employee Central, we're here to help you get the most out of your technology. It is a huge investment. There is a lot that can be done to automate and reduce the manual tasks for you inside of HR, but equally so, there's a lot that can be done to create a much greater experience for both our employees and our managers inside the system. And we welcome an opportunity for you to be able to, talk to us, come to us, get some advice, have us review your system on a complimentary health check, and help you get more out of your technology. So thanks for taking the time to speak with me today. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us at hrstrategiesconsulting.com. Look forward to hearing from you. Have a great day.